Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey,
Hello.
and the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, dope?
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone has had a good Friday and you have a good weekend ahead of you. Before the stream started, thank you, tall person, so much. I have not forgotten. You cannot escape my rage, Scribe. I don't need to know where you are to throw money at you. I'm working the poll, I guess. That's where you throw money at people, right?
Yes.
Okay, I guess in the metaphorical sense.
Shake it, you whore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello, chat again. Yeah, so here we are. Rock us like a hurricane. How are you, Satsu?
Pretty good. I had a interesting day because I did not sleep last night, like literally at all. I stayed up and I was watching anime for a while, and then I paced around my kitchen for like 10 minutes trying to figure out what to eat. And then I watched some more anime, and then I paced around in my kitchen for like 20 more minutes trying to figure out what to eat. And then I finally ate something and waited for Squeetus to wake up, fed her, saw Squishy off to work, and then finally went to sleep. That's how my night went. But it was interesting because I slept most of the day, played some Call of Duty with my homie Zach, which Monkey we should definitely play tomorrow. And that was it.
Oh, sure. Oh, I can't tomorrow.
Oh. Well, day in the life of a stay-at-home dad, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And Monkey, how are you?
I can't stop yawning, but otherwise I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm all right. It was a busy day at work. A few, I don't know, like momentary difficulty kind of things to overcome. I spotted a problem in the morning and was able to address it really quick. And then the client was all happy. It's like, oh, thank you so much. I was like, great. And then it's like, hey, I did a good thing and I did it efficiently and yay. So there's that. And then after work, I went out and bought a few last minute Thanksmas supplies for my trip tomorrow. Because programming note, I'll be absent from tomorrow's show. I have double checked, and the timing of all the there and back again and everything will prevent me from making the show tomorrow night. So I will not be here. But I will be having a combination Thanksgiving Christmas with my folks and my sister, because by my dad's logic, which I don't necessarily disagree with, by doing both celebrations in between when both occur, we avoid all of the traffic and or rush that would be involved in trying to attend both on their requisite dates.
Not wrong.
Because my father is he's becoming a more crotchety old man, and he sort of like empathizes on our part for our travel time and everything else, because my parents decided to move way far away when they retired, when they didn't need to. But my father hates urban areas and driving through cities and stuff and just wants to be out in the quiet somewhere. So it's like, okay. Anyway, thank you, Angry Illinoisan. I remember you saying that. Scribe, you shall be missed, only because your aim is off. But don't worry, guys. You will see me again on Monday, or maybe I'll do a Sunday live stream. I don't know yet. I'm probably going to work on something else. But as you also know, those of you who have been around a while, when I say I'm not going to be here, oftentimes I end up here anyway. But just to cover my bases, I'm saying I will not be here tomorrow night.
Fair enough.
But with all that said, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games, hit that like button if you haven't already. And per tradition, many of you haven't. Always wonder why. You already know you're going to enjoy yourselves. And please share our stuff. Share it far, wide, and sideways. I've started saying that every time now. I don't know if it's a new catchphrase or just one of those things. I don't even know what sharing it sideways is. I suppose like sharing with somebody you know. Like far and wide is sort of like off into the ether somewhere, but sideways is like the person sitting next to you. Which I don't necessarily know them, I guess. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent.
Share it with that whore that you're fucking. She's just like, oh, it's so great. You're like, you think that's great? Check out these guys. Just put the phone in her face.
Like, why are you on your phone while we're fucking? Anyway. All right. So, anything else before you guys are streaming tonight, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing 7 Days to Die?
Yes,
Are you doing with Sinatra and Random American?
most likely.
Okay. Over on 2 Cents Plus?
Absolutely.
All right. These are all, forced rhetorical questions. But either way, let's get on to the wonderful world of the news. And unfortunately, the wonderful world of the news involves another shooting at a military base, or a naval air station, I should say. The details of which I've only sort of, I knew it had occurred earlier today. The details of it I didn't get until later on because I was working. But here's what you need to know about the Pensacola Naval Base shooting. Here are the, every time, I almost say it, and I want to say that I'm thinking about it before I say it. Here are CNN's bullet points, because that's what they are. What happened? Authorities first received a call about an active shooter at Naval Base. At Naval Base, okay, around 6:51 a.m., as Cambria County Sheriff David Morgan told reporters. The shooting occurred in a classroom building, authorities said. The shooter used a handgun and was killed after 2 deputies exchanged gunfire with him. The victims: 3 people were killed in the shooting and at least 8 others were injured and taken to a local hospital. The deputies who confronted the shooter also suffered gunshot wounds, 1 in the arm and 1 in the knee. Both are expected to survive. The suspect, the gunman who was killed, has been identified as Saudi Arabian national Mohammed al-Shamrani, if I'm saying that correctly. He was a member of the Saudi Arabian military training at the station. 5 U.S. defense officials and another person familiar with the investigation told CNN. The FBI is investigating. Investigators are looking into whether the shooting was terror-related as a possible motive, but it's still early in the investigation. The investigation is global in scope, a law enforcement source told CNN, with agents posted in Riyadh tasked with liaising with the Saudi government to obtain background information about the shooter. And finally, President Trump in contact with Saudi king. Trump said he spoke with the king of Saudi Arabia about the shooting. The king said that the Saudi people are greatly angered by the barbaric actions of the shooter. Barbaric actions. You're angered by barbaric actions in Saudi Arabia.
Of this particular shooter.
Yeah, let's just set aside, all the, anyway. And that this person is in no way, shape, or form represents the feelings of the Saudi people who love the American people, Trump tweeted. Okay.
I'm sure there are some.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some. Also, barbarism in Saudi Arabia. I'll just let that float out in the air a little bit. Let's see. And one other bit. The suspected shooter, Saudi national Mohammed al-Shamrani, I don't know why I care to say his name, whatever, was training at the U.S. Naval Air Station in Pensacola for 2 years, according to Defense Department spokesperson Christopher Garver. His training began in August 2017 and was scheduled to conclude in August next year. His training program included English language training, basic aviation, and initial pilot training. The training was funded by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He was vetted upon entry to the U.S. and checked again after the shooting with nothing of concern found. Oh, okay, I see. They checked to see if anything else. Okay, well, there you go. It's a thing that happened again. And I don't know, two different shootings on 2 different sides of the country at 2 different military stations within the same week. Is it coordinated? Coincidence? One inspired the other? I don't know. It seems a little, I don't want to say coincidental, but I got to wonder about these things.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, not much to discuss there. I just... I mean, if they caught the guy or caught him alive or something, but they almost never do. Anyway, on to other news that's not shooting related, thankfully.
Yay.
The Supreme Court puts temporary hold on House subpoenas to banks for Trump's financial documents. This is like a legal tennis match.
Yeah, fucking like, tug of war.
Yeah. One day, oh, they got the subpoenas. They will be able to get the records. Next day, oh, no, the hold's been put on. Oh, next day, oh, that has been overruled. Oh, next day, another hold. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg on Friday put a temporary hold on House subpoenas requesting President Donald Trump's financial documents from 2 banks. In a brief order, Ginsburg said a lower court opinion that allowed the subpoenas to proceed would go on hold until December 13th. So why? What are they going to do in that amount of time? Earlier in the day, Trump had asked the justices to freeze the subpoenas to give his personal lawyers more time to ask the Supreme Court to take up his appeal. Okay. And you guys have been knowing this is going on for months, and you still need time? Ginsburg, who has jurisdiction over the lower court, likely acted to give her colleagues more time to consider Trump's request. How much time do you need? She also instructed the House to respond to Trump's petition by Wednesday. Lawyers for Trump told the justices that the subpoenas are, quote, extraordinarily broad and that they raise, quote, profound separation of powers concerns, unquote. In all, 3 separate cases pertaining to Trump's records, 2 of which concern House subpoenas, are before the justices. Thank you, Snubberth. I'm sorry Golden Girl betrayed her partisan group. I was kind of surprised that Ginsburg, I mean, credit to her, I guess, if the law is the law and the appeal needs more time, I was surprised when the first thing I was, Bader Ginsburg ruled in favor of Trump, kind of. I mean, she didn't make it go away or anything, but.
We saw this already.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they've already. This was already done another time, and there's just so many of them going through the court right now that every other day you see a headline, "Oh, setback for Trump," and then the next day, with very little fanfare, you hear, "Oh yeah, the Supreme Court said put it on hold." Because once they put one of these on hold, they're going to stack them up until they make a ruling.
Yeah. Let's see. Ginsburg order signals that all of the petitions could be considered by the court December 13th during its regularly scheduled closed-door conference. No documents are expected to be released until the Supreme Court acts. Well, duh. Unless, of course, there's some kind of leak, but that never happens.
Never.
The cases are at different stages, and it is unclear how soon the court might issue an order or agree to take up one of the challenges. The justices are in the middle of a blockbuster term considering cases on abortion, the Second Amendment, immigration, and LGBT rights. If the court is going to add a case concerning Trump's records to the docket this term, it would likely have to act by mid-January. Tug of war. The drama continues. Are we going to see Trump's financial records? Do I care?
Tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Which do you think will be the biggest nothing burger when these come out? Like, what's actually in the documents or the public's reaction to what's in the documents? It's going to be one or the other, I presume.
It depends on what they say.
I guess.
Because the biggest part that they're going to be looking at is how much he paid in taxes. Because that's all they care about. They don't actually think this is part of some crime. Mm-hmm. They've just been trying to get his taxes for 3 years now, until 4 years now, and he's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, but if it's just some same typical corporate loophole that every other company in existence uses, like what's going to be the narrative?
The abuses of billionaires. Trump abuse. I mean, right now, the line is for several of the candidates. It's like, billionaires are evil. We have to tax the billionaires, etc. Look, here's the president, the very living example of the problem that he represents and the interests that he represents. Yada yada yada. At least that's the tactic I would take if the tax returns show what they think it does.
Well, Trump already told us during the campaign. When I think it was during one of the actual general election debates where Hillary's bringing up he probably didn't pay taxes or some shit like that, and he says, if I didn't pay taxes, I'm just smart, and people jumped on that. Like, oh, what do you mean it's smart not to pay taxes? That's not what he said. What he was saying there is that he was using the loopholes that Congress has put in for him not to have to pay him.
Apparently, it's Mata Winter's birthday.
Indeed, it is.
So
Mata Winter was not born. Cut it.
Sorry,
out.
what?
I said, "Phooey." Mata Winter was not born.
Yeah, Mata, for your birthday, do you want a big fluffy like birthday cake, or would you rather eat bark?
From a poisonous tree.
Yes, from a poisonous tree that's filled with AIDS.
And chocolate.
Yes, a chocolate-covered poisonous AIDS tree.
Chocolate-covered poisonous AIDS tree.
We can go like this forever, you know,
We
because it's
could.
Mata, but we're not going to. So instead of singing Happy Birthday, I'm going to sing the Beverly Hillbillies song.
All right, do it.
Well, I mean, given the contrasts in question subject matter that Mata gives us, it just seems appropriate that Monkey sing the birthday song and I go for the Beverly Hillbillies.
Let's just all sing a different song.
You're going to sing?
To play in this gag, sure.
Oh, let's see. What do I want to sing? Ooh, what can I sing?
We won't tell each other. Just start singing at the same time once you pick a song.
Pick a song.
Yeah. Okay, give me a second. There's songs that I can sing. Okay. Oh, I know what I'll sing. Okay, go ahead.
All right, Mata. This one is for you because around here we do this. And a 1. And a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mata Winter. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mata. I hope you had a great one. I really do.
Thank you, Cody Fry. I still can't believe RBG's still around. Are they pulling a Moses and having Pelosi and Chuck hold up her arms to bring victory to the Democrats? Oh, man.
Mata, we love you. Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Mata. Let's see. From the hallowed halls of the Supreme Court to the high rises of Mike Bloomberg. Now, I thought for a second that I was misreading the headline when I came across this today, but no, as far as I can tell. So let's dive into this. Now, Mike Bloomberg, as you know, has just put his hat into the ring for president, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike Bloomberg to Bloomberg News reporters upset over not being able to probe Democrats. Quote, with your paycheck comes some restrictions, unquote.
What?
I'm going to read that again. Mike Bloomberg to Bloomberg News reporters upset over not being able to probe Democrats. Quote, with your paycheck comes certain restrictions, unquote.
All right.
Mike Bloomberg, the billionaire Democratic presidential candidate, said employees at his news organization, quote, just have to learn to live with some things, unquote, when asked about their frustrations over the outlet's 2020 election policy forbidding the investigation of Democratic presidential contenders. Quote, they get a paycheck, Bloomberg said during an interview that aired Friday with CBS This Morning co-host Gayle King. Quote, but with your paycheck comes restrictions and responsibilities, unquote. Bloomberg News announced last month that it would not investigate the Democratic presidential candidates after its owner, Bloomberg, jumped into the race for the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination. The outlet has long avoided probing him and said it would continue to do so as he seeks the nomination. To level the playing field, Bloomberg News editor-in-chief John Micklethwaite said the newsroom would also not investigate the other Democratic presidential candidates.
All right.
But Micklethwaite said Bloomberg News would continue to investigate the Trump administration as the government of the day, unquote.
All right. I hear you.
That decision prompted a furious protest from the Trump campaign, which announced on Monday that it will not credential Bloomberg News reporters for its events until the policy is rescinded. Quote, the decision by Bloomberg News to formalize preferential reporting policies is troubling and wrong, Brad Parscale, Trump's 2020 campaign manager, said in a statement. Bloomberg News reporters have been torn about how their outlet is handling the fact that its owner is running for president. Some Bloomberg News reporters have expressed optimism to CNN Business. Others have said they're concerned. Quote, "It's everybody's nightmare come true," unquote, one reporter told CNN Business. So a presidential candidate is fine restricting journalists about whom they can report on.
Yes.
Based on political affiliation.
A Democratic.
Yes.
Presidential candidate, I might add.
I just, when I read that, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. You have just spiked your own presidential campaign. I mean, if Mike Bloomberg happens to make it anywhere further than, I don't know, Iowa, all the ads are going to be Mike Bloomberg does not believe in the First Amendment. And they would be pretty much on point in saying so.
That's you would think that he would know better, maybe.
I mean, you would also think that at running for president, he would divest himself of having anything to do with giving any instruction to his own news outlet and allow him.
I'm sorry. No editorial control.
Right. And that's essentially what he did. He's still running a news outlet, his own personal safety, safe space, journalistic safe space. Well, nobody's going to report on me because I'm not going to let them do it. I mean, it smacks a little bit of Charles Foster Kane, for those of you that know that reference. But yeah, so I think Bloomberg's done before he's even begun, at least in my book.
Well, his company, his choice. He doesn't have to,
I don't know. I mean, angry Illinoisan says, "Isn't that illegal?" Well, I have to wonder, are there any, does that count as campaign finance? Because effectively, he's turned his news outlet into a propaganda machine against the Trump administration all by his lonesome. Does that count? Does the money spent on that, do the paychecks going to the reporters that are not allowed to talk about Democratic candidates, including him, is that an in-kind sort of gift that he's getting from his own news outlet now that he's not? I presume he's somehow disconnected himself financially from Bloomberg News in the meantime. I don't know.
Also, compared to the current situation that's going on, how does that compare to directing a foreign nation to doing it than directing your own news outlet company to investigate your political opponents?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Them reporting on Trump and the administration thereof is like him getting since presumably he's disconnected himself financially from Bloomberg News, he's getting free campaign propaganda ads if they can investigate Trump, but they can't investigate Democrats, he's getting free opposition research. I don't see how any of this makes any sense, either politically or legally. But then I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, so I don't know, but it was just very, very bizarre to me. Let's see, we got a couple minutes. Let's see if I can find anything else here. Okay, this is a little odd. I saw something about this earlier, but it wasn't as big a headline now. Now CNN has raised the font up a little bit. A town's Christmas parade is canceled because of potential protests over Confederate symbols. The Christmas parade in Wake Forest, North Carolina, has been a local tradition for more than 70 years. But this year, it's being canceled because of safety concerns following the participation of local Confederate sympathy groups. The city of 44,000, just outside the state capital of Raleigh, announced the cancellation Wednesday due to the, quote, potential for violence, unquote, according to a news release by the town. The Sons and Daughters of the Confederacy has participated in Wake Forest's Christmas parade for more than 20 years. They typically appear in period costumes with a banner that includes an image of the Confederate flag. This year, Wake Forest police reported receiving information that outside groups planned on attending the parade to either protest or support the Confederate group, the release said.
So it has nothing to do with them. It's outside groups that are interfering.
Sure, Antifa, anti-racists, etc.
This article might as well say, since Antifa is relevant now, they're going to go and start violence if they show up to this thing. Like, because that's basically what this article is saying. Antifa's going to show up and start beating up people if they show up.
Well, I mean, if past is prologue, I don't necessarily blame them for having a concern.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a Christmas parade with families and kids around, and if somebody decides to do something stupid, which is entirely possible.
But they're trying to make it seem like it's the fault of the group that's been going to this thing for 20 years without incident. Like, oh, it's their fault now, this group that's been here and been coming here all the time without incident. Yeah, people are concerned about them. Like, no, they're not.
Okay, so this led to concern that residents attending, particularly children, would be put in danger if violence broke out. Quote, groups that contact us about their plans to protest tend to follow our rules and regulations, said Wake Forest Police Chief Jeff Leonard in a statement. We're concerned about outside agitators that don't notify us. Radicals don't typically call ahead. These aren't area residents we're talking about. These are professional protesters who have no regard for the safety and well-being of others. Unquote.
That's not false.
Wake Forest Mayor Vivian Jones expressed disappointment in the cancellation in a video message, but she assured residents the parade would be back on for 2020. Quote, even though I don't like it personally, at this point, the risk of moving forward with the parade simply outweighs any possible reward, she said. Thank you, Sanguine. Scribe, you forget. Bloomberg has the right politics, those being left politics, so the issues and laws at hand aren't meant to be applied to him. I'm thinking he's going to get, if he actually believes anything like that, he's going to get a real quick surprise, because I don't think obviously moderates and those who actually believe in the freedom of the press, regardless of what side of the aisle they're on, is going to look straight at that and go like, hell no. And he's out. I can't imagine a more stupid move on his part. But anyway, you're going to say something, Monkey?
Yeah, it scribbles over on my Streamlabs. Thank you, Bill Ding, who says, Scribe needs Streamlabs so he can read funny names too.
Nah. I read plenty of funny names on here. I have to say these two jokers' names every night.
That is true.
I know, right?
As to the story, yeah, I'm with what Satsu said there. This happens every year, but they're canceling it this year because there's going to be some douchebags there.
Yeah,
and they make it sound like it's the people who do it every year that are the problem.
Yeah, it's the framing. I don't necessarily take issue with them taking a precaution, because it is a realistic problem that could actually happen. But the framing is just like, it's this group's fault that's always here and never caused an issue. Like, people are concerned about them, and I'm like, no, that's not what's happening here. But sure, let's go with that narrative if that's what works.
Yeah. Let's see. Any other stories you guys know of off the top of your head?
Major stories. I'm sure I've heard plenty today, but
yeah, same here. But that's why we have MSS News. Guys, if you have news stories you would like us to read on the air, or things you think that we might have missed, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but that's because I'm long-winded. And I can't promise we'll get to them all either, because apparently Twitter is glitching out on me, and I can't actually bring up anything. So I'm going to restart Twitter and hope that it works again. Let's try that again. I want to go to the search page. There we go. Okay, let's start from scratch. And you know what else I forgot to do? I forgot to share the screens of those stories. So there you go.
It happens.
It happens, okay. Speak of the devil, here's a story that I remember seeing briefly today, but then it disappeared from the headlines. This one comes from Desert Tramp, and I will attempt to share the screen on this one because, better late than never, I suppose. Share screen. All right. Former radioactive site collapses into Detroit River, raising drinking water safety concerns. You think? A radioactive site is in the river. A site on the Detroit River that was used to produce radioactive materials during World War II collapsed last week, raising concerns about whether the adjacent water supply is safe to drink. Well, what radioactive materials were they producing there? Let's find out. While officials in the United States say the water is free of radioactivity, the city of Windsor on the Canadian side is raising concerns. Canadian Prime Minister of Parliament Brian Massey released a statement Thursday from his office, which alleged that, quote, on November 27th, 2019, the Revere copper site on the American side of the Detroit River collapsed most likely due to the weight of the aggregate stored by Detroit bulk storage on site, unquote. And then my phone beeps at me to tell me whether I'm sticking around or not, because that's the way my life works, and should be okay. Massey later provided a letter to Canada's House of Commons, further expressing his concerns and calling for both the U.S. and Canadian governments to work together to assess any possible threat. Okay, well, what was produced there? I'm trying to see if they say. Okay, the property is what was it doing in World War II?
It was toxic masculinity.
The EPA confirmed it's involved in the investigation. It conducted its own radiation surveys in 81 and 89, but found no abnormal radioactivity. Okay. Did I miss what it was that they actually produced there? I mean, they said it was a copper site, but copper isn't inherently radioactive, so
maybe it was what they were using to get copper out, or they found uranium down there, and no idea.
Yeah, because we were talking about World War II radioactive stuff. You're usually talking about uranium or plutonium or something. Okay, well, I hope they're correct, and it's not going to be Fallout Detroit soon. So,
dang, even Flint people gonna be laughing at y'all water.
I was about to say, like,
no, that's where Flint gets its water.
Is it?
Oh,
yeah. Worse. Oh, damn.
I was about to say,
brown to green. There you go.
Could it get any worse in Michigan for water down? Yeah,
looks nicer.
All right, this one comes from Soraya Thorndike. What are you laughing about?
Nothing.
What are you laughing about?
Huh?
What was that?
Nothing. That was the sneeze.
That was a sneeze.
Yeah, I sneezed like that.
Britain's Channel 4 apologizes for racist subtitle error in Boris Johnson's speech.
Oh.
Well, damn.
Okay, and there's the error. So his line was, I'm in favor of people of talent come to this country. I'm assuming it means coming to this country, but the subtitle screwed up. And what they actually broadcast was, I'm in favor of people of color come to this country. Is that racist?
How's that racist?
Especially these days. I mean, in the olden days, let's see, British broadcaster Channel 4 has been forced to offer a groveling apology for fake smears that Boris Johnson made a racist comment on camera. Maybe I need more context for what he was saying. The free-to-air network claimed the Prime Minister said people of color had to be controlled when coming into Britain. When in fact he had said people of talent have to be quote, I'm in favor of having people of talent come to this country, but I think we should have it democratically controlled, Johnson said. Okay, thank you, Sanguine. How would you tell if it did become Fallout Detroit and isn't just normal Detroit? Oh. Yeah, after watching that that documentary series on Netflix, the Flint, Michigan one about the cops, yeah, you might not be wrong. But a clip of Johnson making the comments at a rally in Kent, a country in southeastern England, county, not a country, was posted on the channel's Twitter account with false subtitles. It quickly attracted furious tweets bashing the head of the UK's Conservative Party, who are also colloquially called Tories. The tweet has since been deleted. Channel 4 bosses have been forced to make a sniveling apology. Quote, Boris Johnson says people of talent, not people of color, a spokesperson said via Twitter. Our earlier tweet was a mistake. We misheard and we apologize. How do you mishear talent as color?
You want to?
Yeah, I mean, a senior Conservative Party source said the blunder was an example of why the party found it, quote, impossible to cooperate with Channel 4 News. Quote, they are campaigners in this election, inventing the most damaging things possible to further their campaign against Brexit, the source said. This sort of thing is why so many media organizations have collapsing audiences. We sadly do not expect the senior management at Channel 4 to take this terrible mistake seriously, and we expect more of the same.
Oh, so they got the same shit going on we got going on over here. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to what's next here. I saw this earlier today. This one comes from Mercy of Wits. And you guys have to tell me, you have to be real big fans of this particular product to want to do this. Because I read this today and I was like, would I really want that smell in my house all holiday season, essentially? And what I mean by that is KFC Yule log returns to make your house smell like fried chicken.
No.
All for the low, low price of $18.99. This year, the traditional Yule log could smell a lot like a famous bucket of fried chicken. The KFC limited edition 11 herbs and spices fire log, back by popular demand, I didn't even know it existed beforehand, mixes the aromas of the spices and herbs to permeate through your home. The log, which sold out in a few hours last year, is still available at Walmart for $19. Thank you, Manic, for a how's it going from Dog Cat Fox. Yes, everyone, if you don't already know, Dog Cat Fox lives with me in my moon base. Dog Cat Fox is my pet on my moon base. Because we can never tell exactly what that creature is. It is Dog Cat Fox. And don't try to correct me. That's just the way it is now. Me and Dog Cat Fox living on the moon, overseeing production of all the pepper jacks in the world and goldfish. There you go. But yeah, would you want okay, if not KFC, what food product would you want a Yule log of? Satsu?
Cinnamon rolls.
Ooh, not bad. Monkey?
If I do that like an apple pie.
Oh, there you go. I would go for pepper jack. Just the scent of whiskey and Dr. Pepper through the air. Yeah.
You notice the two things that me and Satsu said they actually make candles of those.
They do.
And yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is there a Dr. Pepper candle out there? I bet there is.
No.
Thank you, Shrouded Angel, for the Kung Fu Dog Cat Fox. Yes, Dog Cat Fox is also a attack Dog Cat Fox. It knows Kung Fu on the moon. And the lower gravity allows it to do some really crazy kicks in the air against my enemies. I'm just making up this lore as we go along, guys. Thank you, Duck Dog, for pineapple pizza. Pineapple pizza Yule log. Okay, I guess that's one way to do it. And thank you, Ginger Snap, for... Is that offering me a pepper jack? I'm going to assume it is. I'm going to say it is. Thank you, Ginger Snap. Yeah, so we'll save that for question time, guys. So when we get to question time, remind me, I'm sure somebody will, that we should get ideas from the chat as to what their personal Yule log would smell like. And saying that the way I just did sounds like it is looking for something really disgusting. But I'm not going to mind.
We don't need to know what your Yule log smells like, no matter what Scribe just said.
That's true. My Yule log smells like cheese.
It smells like peanuts and corn.
Okay, this one comes from Frosted Glass. I have to wait for the link to come up. There we go. And I can put it over here and do the hokey pokey and turn myself around. That's what it's all about. There we go. Or not an ad. Okay. This comes from something called Elemental. Oh, it's a subheading of Medium, the glorified blog site. Sex education needs to be less straight.
Does it really?
Well, these days, I don't inherently disagree because there are different things to consider depending on what you're doing. I mean, if you're talking about like sex education for the prevention of pregnancy, obviously there's a disconnect there. But if you're talking about having safe sex or healthy sex, I can see how you should cover the bases, let's say. So
yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with the fact that it could stand to be a little less, but I don't.
Motto Winter says, Scribe Light, there is a Dr. Pepper scented candle on Amazon. Of course there is.
Now you got to pour a little bit of Jack in there.
Well, I was about to say, now, is there a Jack Daniels scented candle? Because then if I put the two right next to each other and let the fumes combine. Anyway, when Alex Clavel was in the 8th grade in 2015, his health teacher started the class's sex unit. It sounds like some kind of like tactical sex squad with a familiar activity, posting signs around the room with the names of reproductive organs. That's a familiar activity.
Yep.
Okay, I'd never done that one
Sex
before.
ed classes.
Uterus, cervix, testes. She called them out one by one. The students were supposed to run towards the sides of the room labeled male or female. Okay, all right, hold on a second. Thank you, Nico Filippone. 6 Saudis are arrested over Pensacola naval base shooting, including 3 who filmed the attack. What? Daily Mail reporting on it.
Wow.
Questioning if it was terroristic or not.
Satsu or Monkey, can you look that up and see if you can find a corroborating source on that one? I'll read that one next if there is something out there.
On it.
Thank you. My crack research team. When the teacher yelled uterus, every student flocked to the female side, except Clavel. Stationed in the middle, he remembers asking, quote, "What about transgender men?" Oh. Okay, now by the headline, I thought it was talking about one thing, but now it's talking about nonsense. The teacher didn't contradict him, but said for the purpose of this lesson, the uterus is something only women have. No, not for the purpose of this lesson. For the purpose of biological reality. Scientific fact. Not emotional conjuring. Anyway, Monkey, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I found one article from the Daily Mail.
Okay, I'd like to see something from at least one other source.
That's the only source I can find with it.
Okay, well, we'll check back on that later on in the show, because if that was true, that indicates something way more complex.
Well, they're detained. I don't know that they're actually arrested.
Okay, is Monkey roboting or is that me?
That was Monkey.
Okay.
He was roboting a little bit. I heard him though.
All right. I mean, I understood you, Monkey. You were just roboting a little bit. And I'm more than a little paranoid about my own connection because of yesterday's stuff and earlier today, actually. So anyway, all right. Well, we'll check back on that story later. If it starts popping up on like CNN and Fox and everything, then because I don't want to start. I know it's the Daily Mail, and so I'm like, I want to wait and see if something a bit more. And I'm not, trying to give too much credibility to Fox or CNN, but all the same. Let's see. This one comes from TM Writer. If there's one thing I learn amongst so many other things from the stories people send us, it's the odd news sites that exist out there that I've never heard of before. Because, man, some of the stuff is just... this comes from something called Futurism.com and a subheading called Neoscope, which sounds like a sci-fi movie from the 80s. First ever pig monkey chimeras born in Chinese lab. The goal is to grow human organs inside animals. I thought we were already kind of doing that in places. According to a New Scientist exclusive, the first ever piglets with cells from monkeys have been born in a Chinese lab. Quote, "This is the first report of full-term pig-monkey chimeras," State Key Laboratory of Stem Cell and Reproductive Biology researcher Tang Hai, a co-author on a new paper about the birth, told the magazine. The researchers' final aim is to grow human organs inside animals, but that future is still many years out. These particular piglets unfortunately died within a week of birth, with the exact cause of death still unknown. Well, I might recommend you guys watch the first half hour of the movie The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. You might have an idea.
I'm getting some Full Metal Alchemist flashbacks here.
There you go. To create the pig-monkey chimeras, Heiss and his team grew a monkey cell culture, derived embryonic stem cells from it, and injected them into pig embryos 4 days after fertilization. The results leave something to be desired. Only 2 out of 10 piglets turned out to be chimeras. The team had to implant more than 4,000 embryos to get to these results. It's almost like they don't belong together. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm all for like mad scientist experimentation into making mutants and things. That's fine. But I mean, all the same, monkeys and pigs. Yeah. All right. Anyway, I thought pigs were close enough to us in genome that you could already grow human compatible organs in pigs. Or am I?
Last I knew, they were trying to. I don't know how many they'd been successful with.
I thought there was something that they were able to grow in using pigs that could be then transplanted into humans. Thank you, Pincala, the Driving Ape Man. Alex Jones was called insane for bringing this up. Okay, guys, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying that, with something as inflammatory as that and as bizarre sounding as that, I just want to make sure that it's been corroborated somewhere. The Daily Mail is a little bit of a tabloid. Just want to make sure. Thank you, Sanguine. We make hybrid animals fairly on the regular for laboratory experiments. It makes better model organisms, but these are chimeric form from birth. Right, and that's the thing, is that I thought that we already were growing some human replacement parts from pigs and other such things, but combining two types of animals together for that is okay. Again, I'm not a scientist. I don't follow this stuff so much. Let's see. Zombie Teddy says pig heart valves, livers, and teeth are compatible with humans. Maybe that's what it was. I knew it was something with the heart or the liver or something. So, anyway, moving on. What is this? Okay. All right. This one comes from Pincalo, the Driving Ape Man. Speaking of Pincalo, get that into the right tab in all the magic of live TV. There we go. Supreme Court will not hear Oberlander's appeal. And I believe this is the Canadian Supreme Court, given the source here. Ottawa. It says it twice, so I read it twice. Ottawa. The Supreme Court of Canada will not hear the appeal of an elderly man whose Canadian citizenship was revoked for lying about his membership in a Second World War Nazi death squad. Well, I can't say that I'm surprised. The decision Thursday moves Helmut Oberlander, 95, one step closer to possible deportation. I would guess so. Oberlander was a member of a Nazi squad, the EK-10A or EK-10A, which operated behind the German army's front line in the eastern occupied territories during the war. It was part of a force responsible for killing more than 2 million people, most of them Jews. I'm not. This is like my not surprised face.
Right.
Thank you, Sanguine. Yep, we do that, but those are cells/structures that are transplanted into animals. They pop out chimeras rather than a later modification. Right. Okay. And thank you for the donation, by the way. I thought, like I said, I was trying to remember because I haven't heard a story about animal transplantation, but it was always pigs because pigs were close to us on the genetic level or whatever. Let's see. He served with the EK-10A as an interpreter from 1941 to 1943, living and traveling full-time with the unit. His responsibilities also included finding and protecting food and polishing boots. He later served as an infantryman in the German army. Oberlander says he never participated in any atrocities. Sorry, dude. In this case, guilt by association is almost always going to get you. Unless, of course, you're a very valuable rocket scientist that we bring over in Operation Paperclip. And I'm not talking conspiracy theories there. That's how Werner von Braun became so famous.
Oh, hold on.
What?
I just saw something that I feel compelled to speak about right now because
Go for it.
Sophane, 1 hour ago. Good news on the hashtag job report today. I dislike this administration very much, but as an American, I'm always happy to see more people getting back to work. There's plenty to criticize the president for, but this ain't it.
Yep, I saw that earlier today, and I completely agree.
Holy shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some things that, you just can't deny just being a pragmatist. I remember saying many times before, the one thing they can't attack Trump on, short of something really changing, is the economy. He's got that in the bag. Even if you say, oh, well, he's just benefiting from the fruits of Obama's labor or something, which I suppose an argument could be made given how policies, span out over years. All the same, though, yeah, the economy is not an issue you can really go against or argue against him on right now. But yeah, there's plenty you can argue against him about, but the economy is a losing proposition. So I think that's probably why we haven't heard too much from the candidates, except for Yang talking about automation and the potentials down the road for those such things. But right now, yeah, there you go. But even Sophane has to admit there are some things that have no traction. Let's see. One Ton Hammer says Sophane was reasonable. Hell to freeze over. News at 11.
Nice.
I don't think Sophane's an unreasonable guy inherently. Sometimes a little hyperbole.
Not inherently, no, but he certainly can be.
Let's see. Colleen Bernier sent the story about the polyamorous Florida woman with 4 boyfriends we talked about last night, because that was a winner. Let's see. Which one's this? This one comes from Angry Illinoisan. Let me get that over here. And sorry, guys. Someday I'll figure out the best way to get these things up more quickly, or maybe I'll preload some of these stories. American Airlines apologizes for making woman change Hail Satan shirt. Is American Airlines Catholic by any chance? American Airlines has issued an apology to a woman after flight attendants made her remove her Hail Satan shirt in order to remain on the plane.
What?
Was she wearing something underneath that shirt, or were they like, show us your bra?
I feel like she should flop out them titties.
Yeah. They're like, okay. Swati Rooney Goyle, is that okay, of Key West, was aboard an American Airlines flight from Florida to Nevada in October. Was it near Halloween by any chance? When a crew member made her change her shirt or get kicked off the plane. Thank you, Pincalo. Fun fact, Kirshner was originally named Berlin. Oh, Kitchener? Who's Kitchener? Did I miss something?
I don't know.
Is that a town in Canada? I've lost the context. That was part of the story I was reading earlier. I've completely lost it already. Sorry, Pincalo, but thank you for the donation. It's an ironic shirt, Goyle told the news outlet. People usually laugh at it, or they give me a thumbs up because they understand the meaning behind it. Unquote. She is not a Satan worshiper, but is a member of the Satanic Temple and bought the shirt in support of the organization. The Satanic Temple is a non-theistic religious organization that has become known for its activism on issues such as separation of church and state, free speech, and religious freedom. Goyle said a crew member found her shirt bearing support for the organization, quote, offensive. Quote, we initially thought it was a joke, but he repeated the directive, and there was another female crew member who was behind him with her arms crossed, looking very angry. She said of the crew member who told her to change her shirt. She and her husband refused to leave the plane and instead took one of her husband's shirts to cover up the Hail Satan message. Goyle added that she was, quote, humiliated by the situation and contacted American Airlines after her flight to file a complaint. She told BuzzFeed that she received an email response from the airline that did not contain an apology, only a description of policies in place regarding, quote, offensive clothing, unquote. Quote, our flight attendants have a responsibility to all passengers in our care, and we must sometimes make difficult decisions associated with the application of our policies, the email response stated. Goyle took to Twitter to voice her displeasure with the airline, and only then did American Airlines respond. Quote, discrimination has no place at American Airlines, the company replied on Twitter, adding that it would further investigate the incident. Quote, we apologize to Ms. Goyle for her experience, and we are reaching out to her to understand what occurred. Here's the thing.
I understand. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, but if you think about it, okay, when you're on a plane, at least the planes I've been on, I guess even if you're in the middle aisle, if it's a large plane, who has eyesight to the front of your shirt? Everybody's locked facing forward.
Right. At the back of another seat.
Yeah.
So,
They're staring at the back of another seat. Or at worst, they can see the person sitting next to them. But if she's with her husband, I'm assuming probably they were just in one of the aisles together. The only people who would see the front of the shirt are the crew members walking up and down the aisles. That's ridiculous. Now, yeah. So anyway, that's
so if somebody's on there with a shirt that says "I love Jesus," you're just like, well, that's offensive to me.
that would be hilarious.
As a Satanist, I'm offended. By that.
That would be hilarious.
And they'll tell you to shut the fuck up, rightfully so. But come on, man.
All right, and we're going to do this one last because we're just about the top of the hour. And this was something that Monkey had brought up at during his stream earlier this afternoon, and so I'll bring it up here just for the sake of completion. This one comes from Angela Arriaga. Flesh-eating bacteria linked to black tar heroin kills 7 in San Diego. A flesh-eating bacteria linked to the use of black tar heroin has killed at least 7 people over the past 2 months in the San Diego area, prompting health authorities to alert law enforcement and other officials in California. 9 people who injected black tar heroin between October 2nd and November 24th were hospitalized with severe myonecrosis, a soft tissue infection that destroys muscles. Of the 7 who died, 5 were men. The 9 patients range from 19 to 57. And I'll bet that batch of black tar heroin all came from the same location, same production, and something got in there in the jungle or whatever, was grown or off in the desert. I don't even know where they do heroin anymore. And yeah. Also, 13 people in Southern California have been diagnosed with wound botulism since September 1st, which also may be tied to black tar heroin. Ugh. Wound botulism. Law enforcement agencies are trying to determine the source of the heroin. It is unclear exactly how the bacteria was transmitted. Quote, it can be in the dirt, it can be on the surface of your skin, it can be on the surface of a needle, but when you have a cluster like this, it makes it very suspicious that it's the actual black tar heroin itself that's contaminated. We're sort of operating under that assumption. Yeah. So here's a tip, kids. Don't do drugs.
Drugs are bad.
Yeah, drugs are bad, kids. Don't do them.
Drugs are bad, okay.
Especially black tar heroin. Just don't do that. But yeah, with that, guys, thank you so much for all of the stories. Pink Hollow says the Oberlander case. Kitchener was originally named Berlin. Who's Kitchener? What's Kitchener? I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know. But yeah, thank you for all the stories. Appreciate all your submissions. Sorry I can't get to them all, but you know, time is a thing that fades. I was about to say something else. Anyway, I'm talking too fast for my brain. Let's go on to YouTube time. What did I do today? Well, I started assembling my next video, TEDx talk. You know what? I made a big boo-boo that I had to go back and correct as I was starting to assemble a thing. You know what I did wrong?
No.
I don't know.
Well, in the first part of my script, for the sake of making a point, I spelled out what TED actually stands for. What does TED actually stand for?
You almost told us on numerous occasions, but
it's something like tech, education, drama. I don't know.
So my belief was it was technology, engineering, and design. It's technology, entertainment, and design. Consequently, the first 3 segments of my script that I had already recorded were completely in error because I made an assumption or had a misrecollection or whatever. And so upon realizing that, because I went to find an insert that actually showed the interpretation of those 3 letters, I was like, oh, crap. So I had to go back and re-record the first 3 segments of the video. Now, I've hopefully got the sound all balanced out so that you really won't notice a difference or anything. But it was sort of one of those, damn it moments, you know? I feel like a dummy. But I corrected myself, and I admitted my error on live stream. So, you know, I wasn't covering anything up. Thank you, Prospero. Here's the source you asked for. I cannot link here. You'll see in chat, please. Okay. Oh, New York Times. All right. All right. I will. Let's see. Can I share this? Is the New York Times going to let me read it? Yes. Okay. So I will share this for the sake of completion, and I will give extra time to Monkey and Satsu for their YouTube time here in a second, but just for everyone's edification. Florida shooting updates. Authorities say it's too early to know if it's terrorism. Right. Other Saudis on the base are being questioned. 6 other Saudi nationals were detained for questioning near the scene of the shooting, including 3 who were seen filming the entire incident, according to a person briefed on the initial stages of the investigation. It was not known whether the 6 Saudis detained were students in the classroom building, and there was no immediate indication that those filming the incident were connected to the gunman, the person said. Okay. So that is the, at least as far as the New York Times is concerned, latest and greatest on that part of the story.
Gotcha.
It could have been guys,
pretty much. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It could have been guys that were just like screwing around with their smartphones, and then the shooting happened, and they turned around, that kind of thing. So,
yeah, and other than the headline, it's what the other one said. The other one said arrested, and then in the story itself, they never actually said that. They said detained.
Yeah, so we don't know if they were just happened to be there, because he wasn't the only Saudi military guy that was in that class. There were other people.
No.
It was part of a military exchange program or whatever. So yeah, he wasn't the only one there. So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for them to be there and filming it again. Everybody and their brother these days has their phone out doing something. So if they, turned to film what was going on, it wouldn't be any different than anybody else. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. Anyway, that's all I did on YouTube. I may or may not do a live stream Sunday. I'm thinking maybe not, because I don't really. I have a couple things I could do, but it depends on what kind of energy I have after my my adventure tomorrow. So we'll see. With that though, Satsu, what have you been working on?
Well, I attempted to look around a little bit to see what type of recipes and stuff I can use with the stuff that Cryptic sent me. Because if you guys haven't checked out that video yet over on my cooking channel, he sent me a whole bunch of stuff necessary and required for a lot of Asian cuisine. And I've been looking at stuff that I can make because I honestly don't know. So I did a little bit of that today, but didn't get very far because, like I said, I didn't sleep at all. And I took an opportunity to nap throughout the day. And once I woke up, Squeetus needed attention, and I played some Call of Duty. So didn't get a lot of that stuff done. But we do have a stream tonight. We'll be playing 7 Days to Die. I looked at that subsistence game that we were talking about again before, and man, it looks pretty interesting, man. Yeah, there's another kind of survival game out there that we haven't played yet. That's been out for a little bit now. Like it's been around, but when I initially saw it, it didn't really look all that interesting to me. It looked kind of bland. But it's been looking a little more attractive. I think they added some stuff to it, so still contemplating that. But yep, we'll be streaming tonight, so come and hang out with us. And that's pretty much it. All I got for updates there.
All right, Monkey, what have you been working on?
I did a game stream last night, which was a lot of fun near the end because everything just went to hell. I figured out what went wrong, guys, and it wasn't me. It's a weird thing with the game. I'll discuss it on my next game stream. Let's see, and then finally got a Monkey in the Morning done this afternoon.
Yeah, you did.
My power went out right as I was going to do one around 7-ish this morning.
Oh, that's what Zach was talking about.
Yeah, fucking power went out. So I went and laid down instead and ended up falling asleep and not waking up till about 3:30. So I was like, fuck it, let's do one. And Scribbles and Sinatra were kind enough to join me on that. And then Sinatra invited me on to the AAA thing. So I went and did that for a while, and now I'm here.
Ta-da!
I'm a busy boy.
All right. Well, on to the wonderful world of fucketry then. Do I have anything exciting today? Maybe a couple of things. This was a story I should have probably brought up during news time, but I'll just read the tweet. Brandon Ziobrowski tweeted that, quote, "I am broke but will scrounge and literally give $500 to anyone who kills an ICE agent," unquote. Now a federal jury has sided with his lawyers, who argued it was constitutionally protected speech.
Oh, fuck you.
Well, if you read the story, and I did, I said, and I recommend everybody read the story, but I said, while I don't agree with the sentiment, hyperbole should not be subject to criminal prosecution, though given the difficulties in sussing out context/intent with this one, I can kind of see why it ended up going that far. Correct decision in the end.
Okay, give me the context here.
Well, from what I understand, the surrounding tweets and things he had said previously and otherwise showed a frustration, but not an intent behind the comment.
I don't understand how that makes it better.
Well, it doesn't make it better, but does it make it illegal? That was the question. Like I said, I don't agree with the sentiment. I think it's a very reckless thing to just sort of put out there because, again, absent context, absent any kind of notion of intent, someone could take you literally, even though he did use the word literally in his tweet. But if you say something that is on its face inflammatory, but it's part of an ongoing joke or sarcasm or something else, should you go to jail for that? Should you be prosecuted for it? I mean, it goes in my mind, and I know this is maybe not the best comparison, all things considered, goes back to Count Dankula.
Shoot me that story, would you? Or that list of tweets or whatever that is. I would like to read this for myself. I'm having trouble figuring out how a tweet that says, "I will literally pay somebody to kill somebody." And I believe you. I'll take it because you're not a stupid man and you're not a rash man. So I believe you, but I'm just having trouble picturing it.
Like I say, I given, and again, I wasn't at the case. I didn't hear all the evidence or everything, but given the summary I saw in the story and trying to think of sort of trying to empathize with a jury sitting there and, a tweet on the internet from somebody who said there's a whole context of things said beyond the scope of this one thing taken out of context. Does that constitute a violation of the law rather than a free speech expression? Can you say something that is outrageous and offensive and be prosecuted for it? And yeah, no, I mean, my first reaction reading the tweet, the little summary in the tweet, I was like, how is that not a call to action? I mean, it's literally a call to action. And then you read the story, it's like, okay, I can see how the jury arrived at that decision. It can't have been easy. Like I said, I mean, it's difficult to suss something out like that without a real deep dive on someone's previous behavior or previous comments and trying to put it into context. But I can see how it would have to go to court, all things considered. So, yeah, like I said, it's a messy thing. I can entertain, obviously, arguments to the opposite, but I could kind of see how the jury reached that. As far as other fucketry on the intertubes today. Oh, so here's the thing. Remember when Billy D. Williams was advertised as saying that he was gender fluid?
Yeah.
Well, he clarified things today. So let me read a little bit of that here. I will do the wonderful world of sharing this so everybody can see it, because this was actually kind of funny. If the quote is accurate that I saw here, this is kind of funny. Billy D. Williams walks back gender fluid comments. Billy D. Williams, who brought Lando Calrissian to life in Star Wars movies The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and Oncoming, The Rise of Skywalker, recently made comments suggesting he identified as gender fluid. Yeah, well, here's where you guys went wrong. You interpreted what he said into being that. But he has since clarified his recent statements, confessing that he wasn't even familiar with the term or definition. Quote, "Well, first of all, I asked last night, I said, what the hell is gender fluid? That's a whole new term," Williams told Out.com. Quote, "What I was talking about was about men getting in touch with their softer sides of themselves. There's a phrase that was coined by Carl G. Jung, who was a psychiatrist who was a contemporary of Sigmund Freud. and they had a splitting of the ways because they had different ideas about the, what do you call it, consciousness, unconsciousness. It's collective unconsciousness. But he coined a phrase that's anima animus, he continued. And anima means that that is the female counterpart of the male self, and the animus is the male counterpart of the female. I wasn't talking about sex. I wasn't talking about being gay or straight, unquote.
But neither is, okay, I'm sorry.
In the previous interview, he had explained how he says himself and herself because, quote, I also see myself as feminine as well as masculine. I'm a very soft person. I'm not afraid to show that side of myself, unquote. Many took this to mean he identifies as gender fluid. Yeah, because you guys are willing to see what you want to see, to project onto someone things that aren't necessarily true. And this just, thank you, William, said something else because holy cow, you guys were caught with your pants down. No pun intended, but I'll take it.
I'm going to disagree here a little bit because I saw this when he first came out and did the correction.
Mm-hmm.
When you gender fluid, and he might not be familiar with the term and they might have put it on there, but what he describes is exactly what gender fluid is. I've never in my life, no matter how soft I've been, referred to myself as herself. Have you?
I have not, no.
I don't know any man who does. You know who does that? The gender fluid part. It has nothing to do with being gay, because that's what I'd be gay. You can be a dude who likes dudes, or you could like women at that point. I don't know, Billy. You could be a lesbian. But what he describes is gender fluid. Now, they did blow it way up, and that's not the term he actually used, but is it really that far off?
Well, he was talking about psychology, though. He was talking about, how the mind works.
Sometimes I'm soft, and I refer to myself as herself.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's not eccentric, but he said it had nothing to do with sex. He's referring to like I said, it is odd, all things considered, but I mean, if he says it's about psychology, it's about, attitude or likes and dislikes and stuff.
Isn't that what the gender fluid thing is?
Yeah, but I think the important part is the headline said he's gender fluid, and he did. I think that's the part I'm stuck on. He literally did not say that. Maybe he described what a gender fluid person is, but his quote was not, I'm gender fluid, because that's what
he wasn't quoted as saying that either, though.
I mean, that's what the headline said.
That's what they decided to interpret it as. So
yeah. And I get you on that. I just think, Billy, you probably are, and you just don't realize it. And I think gender fluid is bullshit. So
and my last little piece of fucketry, Chris Saliza, our favorite friend of CNN, tweeted this out today. Regarding the jobs numbers. Oh, that's a story I should have talked about. The job numbers are ridiculous. Like, the unemployment rate is like some tiny, like what was it, 3.5% or something?
Yeah, by all measures, we are 100% employed in this country right now.
Yeah, and there's like 266,000 new jobs added or something to that effect, I think. Yeah. So ridiculous numbers. Anyway, so Chris Saliza commented, jobs numbers are yet more evidence that Trump has a clear path to re-election. All right, so he says that, right?
But
he says, but
there it is.
The idea that he will only talk about the economy between now and next November is laughable. And I said, whoever suggested that he would, Chris?
Nobody. Literally nobody said. He just created a fucking narrative out of nowhere. Just conjured that shit up.
And I continued. I said, see any Hollywood movies lately? See how they tend to produce more of what was successful previously? Trump is going to do the same as he did last time, whether it's successful or not, because it got him elected last time. But the idea that you only talk about economy between now and next November is laughable. Like, who are you referring to? What snobbiness are you putting onto some idiot analyst out there, Chris? Those dumber political analysts than you out there, I guess. Anyway, so that was my fucketry for today. Satsu, what do you got?
Well, let's see. The first one, I think some people pointed out that this might be a parody account, and I think it might be. But the statement that I put on it still counts because there are people who think like this. But what this post says is, I wish those MGTOW fucks would stop trying to compare a male teacher preying on young women to a woman having a relationship with one of her male students. It is completely different. Male students enjoy it. And I just put translation. I support rape, but only certain kinds of rape.
You know, I do want to talk about something you said there. I'm sorry to jump in there.
Mm-hmm.
That is such a horrible thing to put on women. I'm not denying that that most of the male students in this enjoy it. I know I would have. That's the only thing I have to go on. But that throws the idea that the girl students aren't capable of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that's a good thing. You still don't fuck children, but it's not like women turn 18 and suddenly their gender or their genitals kick into gear. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like she had sex with. It's never the male teacher had sex with a female. He raped this female student. Did he hold her down? Because that's what you're trying to make it sound like. I mean, it's the term we should use, but you guys use different ones depending if it's a male or a female. Why is that? It's because it seems to be everybody thinks that way. Oh, boys enjoy it, but girls couldn't possibly. Now, I never had sex with a anyone under 16. I can tell you, it's 16. When I was 16, those girls enjoyed it.
Yeah.
How about we don't make it about enjoyment and we make it about what's right for adults to do, you shitbags?
Well,
real quick, thank you, Sanguine. The analysts dumber than Chris are only analyzing the taste of different types of windows and the comfort of various helmets, Scribe. Nice. Nice.
Well played.
Nice.
Yes, agnostic, that's exactly what they're saying.
It couples with the same narrative that women just don't have agency. Like they can't think for themselves. They don't have any control over anything. Women are literally put on this earth to be controlled, and that's it. They can't make decisions on their own, which is why they need to be protected.
You know, in that clip from Chank saying that, I don't want to bring that up too much here, but that he would support bestiality. Anna brings this up. Just most women, or a lot of women have, during actual rape, have orgasms. It's not about whether it feels good to them. It's rape. Whether it's a male teacher or a female teacher, stop it, you shitbags. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump all over your thing there, Satsu. That one just drives me insane.
Yeah. And then our favorite Syra Rao, we still haven't. Oh, she's a blue check mark, but we still haven't figured out if this is a parody account yet. I still don't know. But her comment today was, "Lord, give me the strength of a mediocre white man and the power of a super fragile white woman." And my comment was, Twitter supports this kind of racism on their site. It is 100% a part of their core values. And then somebody responded, or you could just support free speech even when it offends you. And I said, I support free speech. I just hate hypocrites. Because I don't have I'm not the one who's upset with their saying it. I'm just saying that there is a company right now who happens to own this website that are claiming that they don't allow racism on their website because it is against their core values. That's all I'm pointing out. I don't give a fuck what this bitch says. I think it's hilarious. But Twitter's supposed to. They claim they do. But we all know how that goes. Because it's here and it's frequent. If you go down her feed right now, scroll down for 30 seconds and you'll find more racist things than you'll probably find from somebody's alt-right account. It's actually quite fascinating. But Twitter not only enables this, but they allow it, and it's fine. Even if you report these channels, they don't ever get, or these pages, they never get taken down, because they're fine with it. I had just saw myself the Kotaku article about the dude who spent his funds on Steam games, which is funny. What else did I see today? There's another troll account that trolled Jessica Yaniv.
Oh yeah,
which is pretty funny. Kate Vanderbluff is a parody account. From what I know, I've heard that this is a parody account. It says, "Wow, honestly didn't realize that Ricky whoever was a TERF. He was very unsupportive of my gal pal, Trusted Nerd. Trusted Nerd's desire to have a pelvic exam to check the health of her spiritual uterus and her emotional vagina.
What?
They are literally as real as actual uteruses and vaginas. And Jessica Yaniv liked it.
Oh, God.
She fucking liked it. Oh, God. That is hilarious. That is trolling on a whole nother level. Your name's all over that now. You support spiritual vaginas. Oh, shit. There was one other thing. Yeah, the Pelosi. She made another statement again about her little outburst. And she said, I was raised Catholic. Weighing in on the reporter question asked if she hates President Trump. The word hate is a terrible word. And so for him to say that was really disgusting to me. And I simply asked, isn't she for abortion? Because I'm pretty sure that's not really a Catholic thing. Is it? Or am I wrong in asking that? Do Catholics believe in abortion?
Officially, it's a no.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I figured.
But there are Catholics who believe in abortion. So
yeah, but she values all of her Catholic views. So the word, simply hearing the word hate, set her off. But I'm okay with you killing babies. Like, that's fine. I'm just like, this is not even just to hit at Pelosi or just Catholics in general, just religious people. It is hilarious how selective they are with their religious texts, which is why religion has been so difficult for me, because I'm just like, if everybody followed their books how they were supposed to be, the world would be a very different place right now. Very, very different, but 99.9% of people don't. They don't follow it to the letter, or at least aren't as devoted as they claim to be. But that's just such is life. Anyway, that's all my fucking kidding.
All right, Monkey. Oh, it's YouTube time, ain't it? Or Twitter time. Oh God, let's see. Oof. Yeah, Chelsea Manning tweeted out today, me at the beginning of the decade versus me at the beginning. And at the beginning, she's holding a glass of, looks like a vodka martini, not made very well. And then at the end, a whole handful of pot. And if you guys know anything about Chelsea, did I say Manning? I meant Handler. Chelsea Handler. It explains a lot about this woman. She has just gotten more and more insane. And not saying you people on pot are insane, but you guys do get some weird ideas when you're high. And I'm just glad to finally have an idea, because I thought maybe she had head trauma, and now I feel better. Just saying. What else do we have going on here? During my stream earlier today, somebody popped in the chat and told me that they had searched for SAT prep, and my stream came up.
Oh.
Yeah. YouTube, as much as I'm not for children, I am not here for SAT prep. Ranting Monkey is for entertainment purposes only. I cannot stress that enough, because sometimes I tell you guys some really off-the-wall shit, and now I'm worried that you believe me sometimes. Because, man, not that I'm not smart, man. I can help you with your SAT. Don't get me wrong.
Maybe they believe part of SAT prep is winding down with some Ranting Monkey.
I guess, man. Humor is always good. I'm a fairly smart individual, guys. I'm not tooting my own horn here, but if you come to Monkey in the morning looking for actual help, you're probably at the wrong place. Let's see. Did I have other stuff today? I did. I just don't think I think I responded to stuff instead of retweeting it. So now I have to go look. Damn it.
I'll be right back.
Sure, you do your thing, man. You do your thing. What do we have going? Yeah, I'm having problems. Oh, this is the one. Amy Siskind. And for those who don't know, she's Used to be a Republican, became a never Trumper, and from there she became a diehard liberal. I talk about her from time to time. She's kind of a Krasenstein kind of character, guys. Well, she's very happy she got blocked by Rudy Giuliani. And she said this: "The show must go on. Take my spot. Whenever Rudy tweets, reply, Rudy for prison 2019. I am all for annoying the shit out of public officials. Rudy is not an elected official. You guys need to be careful." And I warned her. I told her, look, I'm not reporting you for this, but you guys need to be careful because what they're talking about is targeted harassment. And you can get in real trouble for that. Especially when you're talking about somebody like Rudy Giuliani. You could get banned and blocked and all that stuff. But just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean you can just give them shit on an unending basis. And Scribbles, I think that's all I have on. I've stopped retweeting as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can't find the shit I want to talk about.
All right.
So yeah, that's all I got for the moment. I'm sure there was other stuff, and I apologize for not knowing what the hell it was.
You're forgiven, because that gives us time for a Mad Lib.
Yeah.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Well, Satsu's not here.
Well, he'll be back in a minute, right?
I think so.
Okay.
He might be pooping. It could take him a while.
Thanks for that image.
All right. I didn't tell you to think about what it looked like.
Well,
To me, Satsu pooping looks like a door I can't see through.
I thought he might be like attending to Squeetus.
She might be pooping.
Well, she probably is. She's a baby. A widow baby.
Yeah, but you'd be amazed how much can come out of one of those things.
I've heard stories. I don't need to see it, thank you, but I've heard the stories.
Satsu's making a Yule log.
Yeah,
Quarterback, go sit in the corner.
It'll smell like ramen.
Oh.
He's going to take all the stuff that Cryptic sent him and like take all the ramen, right? And he's going to just
unboxing.
He's going to lightly boil all the ramen until it's soft enough to shape, and then he's going to put it into a big cylinder and let it dry again. And then he's got a ramen log, and he will burn that for Christmas.
So you said we had a Mad Lib.
Yes. Well, I don't know. We could leave Satsu out of this one, I guess.
I can do him until he gets back.
All right, chat. So here's what I need from you. I remember, put each of your suggestions into a separate little chat spot, and please, if you could, label it with what your suggestion is for, so I know what I'm looking for when I scroll back. What I need from you is an exclamation, a past tense verb, and your grade. Now, in the context of this thing, I'm assuming they're asking about your grade in school. But if you want to interpret that in some other fashion, like USDA choice or something, by all means, put your suggestion in there. It'll be fine. So exclamation, past tense verb, and your grade. Monkey,
yeah.
I need an adjective.
Stupid.
Stupid. Let's see. Verb ending in ing, Monkey.
Flogging.
I approve of this message. Monkey, a character in a book.
Oh, Tiny Tim.
Ooh, Tiny Tim.
'Tis the season.
Why is my phone beeping at me? Oh, it's my sister. Please don't tell me that tomorrow's suddenly canceled or something. That would be... see you at 5:15-ish. Yeah, we're starting out early tomorrow because it is a long trip. Okay, Monkey, another verb ending with ing.
Suckling.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Another character in a book.
Shit. I don't know. Ebenezer Scrooge.
No, pick something from a different story. Come on, we got a variety up
What?
there.
But I'm drawing a blank on Harry Potter. There you go. We'll do one for the millennials.
Okay, if they have another one in here, I'm going to do it myself.
No.
Your hometown, Monkey.
San Diego.
San Diego. And I'm going to say Dorian Gray from next character in the book. You guys don't know who Dorian Gray is? Well, you should read some more books. Monkey, what is your favorite book?
My favorite book is Shoot Low Boys. Those are Shetland ponies they're riding. Do you want a shorter book title?
Okay, I'm
Kathy Sue Loudermilk, I Love You.
Is that an actual book title?
Those are both book titles.
Okay, I like the second one. Kathy Sue Loudermilk, I Love You. All right. Monkey, I need a pet's name.
Spot. Right. Torcular got it. Hell yeah.
A state or province?
Oh, Ontario.
There you go. I hear stuff happens in Ontario. And then, this is an odd one, a librarian.
Conan.
Hey! Ding, 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 ding. All right, on to the chat. And then my phone goes off again. Why? That's not my sister. That's work. Okay. Okay, so now I need exclamation. Scrolling up. Where do I get an exclamation? Let's see. No one nowhere says treason. All right, treason. I like that. 'Tis the season for treason. Then a past tense verb. Who's got me a past tense verb? Nobody do one? I see exclamations. I don't see. Oh, there we go. Prospero says scourging. Scourging? All right. And lastly, your grade. Let's see. We got a whole bunch of Moonshock says Grand Wizard. Okay, perfect. That'll go along with the Harry Potter thing or the KKK, depending. All right. And I will now share this in the chat so everybody can see it. It's kind of odd that Satsu has been gone so long, but them's the breaks. Here we go, guys. This one's called A Crazy Night at the Library. One night, something really stupid happened at the library. The characters in the stories started flogging from their books. Tiny Tim climbed into Charlotte's web and started suckling with Wilbur the pig. That works way too goddamn well. Harry Potter wandered into an encyclopedia and ended up lost in San Diego. The craziest part was when Dorian Gray wandered into Kathy Sue Loudermilk, I Love You, and said, Spot, I don't think we're in Ontario anymore. Then Conan walked in and said, Treason! Everybody back in place! The characters scourging around the room. Just in time, the students in Grade Grand Wizard came to get books for their reports, but it was safe. All the characters were back in the books where they belonged.
The suckling part did work way too well.
The suckling part worked way too well. Everything else, meh. But then these are all always a crapshoot, so there you go. But anyway, guys, thank you for your participation. Satsu's still gone, but it's now the bottom of the hour, which means it is your time, chat time. If you have questions, comments, concerns, conspiracy theories, if there is a scent from a Yule log that you would prefer permeate your home during the holidays, let us know in the chat. Now, if you have questions for us, please put plenty of chat marks after those. If you have statements for us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those. If you have no idea what I'm talking about and you're new here, ask your nearby chat member and they will explain it to you in some friendly fashion, I'm sure. Let's see. And remember, guys, after this, over on 2 Cents Plus, you can watch Monkey and Satsu and Sinatra and Random American, probably, playing 7 Days to Die and fighting zombies. Is it Horde Night tonight?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Before you get to questions, can I read something that I just saw over on Twitter?
No.
Before you do that guy, sorry, I had to help squish.
Welcome back. This person, her name's Ada Powers, and she wrote this. I come to Black Twitter humbly with a question. Are there public spaces you don't mind seeing white people in, even if we're a local minority, and those you prefer we just stay out of? Speaking from your own experience, of course, and anything else you'd like to offer. I come to Black Twitter humbly. Like she showed up with a present or something for you guys.
Yes. Oh, Negro overlords, is there any place where I should keep my white ass from going to?
Fucking people.
I'm just like, God damn, y'all are fucking pathetic. Just put a fucking leash on. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
Put a fucking leash on, give away everything you own, and become my bitch.
Oh my God.
Let's see. So, question from Pyrus Creed. Scribe, what exactly is your job? Routine. Ta-da! I'm a smartass. Frosted Glass. I need help with my SATTs. Am I on time? Monkey?
No.
Stargazer Nut says apple cider Yule log. Oh, that would smell okay. Agnostic Adrid. Why did Sally sell seashells on the seashore when you can just pick them up anyway? Maybe they were pre-cleaned. I don't know. Or contain flesh-eating bacteria. Adabisi says, is there a word for a person that only makes sex things with sex dolls alone? Sad?
Incel.
Oh.
Wrong?
Rubber sexual.
Motto Winter. Oh, Lords, meowy Christmas. Is Monk ready for Cat Santa?
Yes. I'm not sure what that means, but yeah.
Well, get ready for something to be tweeted at you, I'm sure. Zombie Coalition. I will buy a mulled wine candle to burn at Christmas. That can smell okay. Cannibal Caretaker says candle, honey butter, and garlic mashed potatoes. I don't want a food scent like that unless it's like, a dessert kind of thing. But I get you. I mean, that's not horrible. Agnostic Edward again. Why do you put 2 cents in when it's only a penny for your thoughts? Because Satsu's got a lot to say.
I like to tip.
Oh, there you go.
So does she.
Frosted Glass says Yule log, tear gas.
What
you are a masochist? Oh.
What did I say?
Tazzy says, how long till Biden tells a story about how he stopped Corn Pop from raping Pamela Anderson when he was a lifeguard?
I don't know where we'll end up with old Joseph.
Let's see. Cody Fry, Ranting Monkey, Scribe Light Satsu. Have you ever drastically shifted on one of your political positions?
Drastically, no.
Yes. Well, I mean, I guess it's more of a political position because it involves the Second Amendment. It was actually due to a vernaculus video from several years ago. For a long time, I was one of those people, and I'm not saying you're, insane or something, but I was of the opinion that the Second Amendment's language was so archaic and so did not apply to citizens, but to a well-armed militia, etc., that it was out of date. People were misinterpreting it and using it for purposes that were not intended by the founders. And then a vernaculus video I watched, and this was had to be 5 or 6 years ago now, almost. Maybe less than that. But anyway, it was long before I was doing YouTube. And he went over this argument, and he went over the text of the amendment, God forbid. And he said, but here's these 2 words, the people. And if you read the actual amendment, you know what I'm talking about. You get the people, not the militia, but the people, the people's right to bear arms. And I was like, yep, you got me. So you can I mean, don't get me wrong. You can disagree with the Second Amendment, how it's worded, and what maybe you can interpret it as. But textually speaking, that is a tough one to get around if you're going to make the it was only meant for well-armed militias argument. Like I say, I could see different interpretations, different arguments, but that is a high wall to climb if you're going to say the text of the amendment says something else, because the text of the amendment specifically says the people. So there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
Yeah. So that shifted my position from one of it is archaic to the argument that it says something different is not correct. And again, I can understand arguments on either side of the equation of whether it still should apply or should be changed. It's like, okay, that's fine. But where I was on it as being so certain about what it should be interpreted as went out the window. Satsu, did you have one? I forgot.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it is pretty political now, but before I learned about trans people specifically, I was one of those people who was just like, nope, this shit is stupid. It's fake. It's not real. Like, pretty hardcore when I first started hearing about it. Because like I said, I've never, like my whole life on this earth, encountered a trans person, somebody who truly thought that they were a woman. Like, I knew a lot of flamboyant people or a lot of women who acted like men and vice versa, but never encountered an actual trans person. And didn't hear about it a lot either. Not in the media, not really anywhere. So for me, I was just like, yeah, it's bullshit. And I ran with that for a long time. And around the time when I started my channel, there was a lot of me saying that type of shit. But I acknowledge the validity that there are some people who exist who have these problems and issues that need to be addressed. So that was probably the only drastic change that I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Motto Winter, oh lords, would you like an assorted alcoholic flavored candy canes?
You just, are they mystery? Like, you gotta guess which kind of drunk you're gonna be every time you get
alcoholic flavored, but not actually alcoholic imbued. I don't know. Is there an alcohol whose taste I enjoy all by its lonesome without the after effects? Yeah, I don't know. I don't drink that much alcohol, so I wouldn't. I'd try it as a novelty. I would try it, sure.
I mean, I'm not opposed to the idea, but I'm like, yeah, I can't think of an alcohol that I would actually, be like, oh, this alcohol just tastes good by itself.
Yeah. I mean, there are mixed drinks that you can sort of like don't notice the alcohol, but they just taste good. So if you said something like, here's a Long Island iced tea candy cane or something, but just like the straight spirit itself, I'm pressed to think of one that I just like the flavor of all by its lonesome.
What's really funny, though, is if we're going to use that context, then you just like, would you like an iced tea flavored candy cane? Or would you like a fruit juice flavored candy cane? Because that's, if the alcohol's gone, then that's all that's left.
Right. Mr. Scott J87. Oh, Lord, since Far is making a pocket otter, do you think we can get a pocket monkey, pocket scribbles, or pocket Satsu? What is a pocket otter?
She makes stickers that she sells, and she made this one called a pocket fetus.
Okay.
And I imagine the pocket otter is just a small otter.
For Polly?
Yeah.
Do you think we can get I don't know the process for petitioning for pocket things, so I don't know.
Yeah, you probably have to ask her about that.
Keeverdam, if I'm saying that correctly. Oh, Lords, what's the ugliest Christmas ornament you've ever seen? The ugliest Christmas ornament. I don't know, because even like, when I see like a bad Christmas ornament, it's usually like something someone's kid made at a project at school or something. And so it's sentimentally cute, that kind of thing. But like ugliest, I couldn't even tell you. Maybe that squirrel that was in the tree in Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, me neither.
Let's see. Zeogold, Lords of the Night. Would you rather live in a house built by the Imperial Fists or eat a meal made by one of Greta's followers. Who are the Imperial Fists?
Is this some more Warhammer shit?
I was about to say it's either that or maybe a Star Wars reference. I mean, there's a lot of, well, I don't even know what a house built by the Imperial Fists means. So, Red Chiastri says Warhammer 40K again. Okay, well, yeah. I read a whole bunch of Warhammer lore and stuff in college, but it's completely like faded from my memory for the most part. So, Kieverdam says Pocket Squeedus. Oh, Squeedus can't fit in no pocket. Squeedus is larger than life. Let's see. Pyrus Creed asks, who let the dogs out? Guys, anybody?
I don't know.
I'm saying Smithers because Mr. Burns told him to release the hounds.
Fair enough.
Manic, I feel crappy. Can I have Scribe cuddles? Oh. For legal reasons, no. Anecdotally, yes. How's that?
That was very kind.
I know. That's the kind of guy I am. I'm sorry, Manic. I'm sorry you're feeling crappy. Let's see. Colonel Fire says, go Eldar. LOL, just kidding. Space Marines. I counter with Chaos Marines. Go Nurgle. That part I remember. A bits of.
I counter with y'all are nerds.
Zombie Coalition. Oh, lords, what is the most weird Christmas ritual you have heard of? We're talking about like ancient pagan lore type Christmas rituals? Drinking the blood and flesh of Christ, maybe?
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some. I mean, the Christmas tree is technically from a pagan ritual. It's not actually have anything to do with Christianity. It's been completely adopted and secularized, but you know. So I guess that's kind of weird bringing a tree into your house.
I mean, mistletoe is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Kiss me because we're standing under this leaf that was brought in the house. Most Christmas traditions are kind of weird if you think about them too much. Just embrace it and go.
Yeah, mistletoe is probably the weirdest for me.
Non-Vitae Rex, thank you so much. Favorite fantasy weapon besides lightsabers? The first one that comes to mind is like Wolverine's claws, which is so I mean it's always looks cool or whatever. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm kind of partial to phasers.
There you go, Satsu.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Favorite fantasy weapon besides lightsabers?
Favorite fantasy weapon?
You can think of something weed.
Now, come on, you watch anime all the time. What's something from Monster Hunter that you love?
Oh, the fucking gun lance.
There you go, gun lance. Moonshock, Scribe Light, Lords of the Night, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Peanut Butter Twix, or Butterfinger? Peanut Butter Cups.
Butterfinger.
Satsu.
Butterfinger.
Oh, wow.
Oh, not new Butterfingers.
No, the old one, the good ones.
The new formula that they made. They're like, we got a new flavor. It tastes terrible.
I've never had a new Butterfinger. I only remember the old ones. That's terrible.
Horrible.
Do they have them as an option, or are they just gone?
They're gone. The old ones are gone. They revised the formula. I guess.
No, that's terrible. I mean, I don't usually have Butterfinger, but when I do, I really like them.
I do too, but I tried to because they look the same. There's nothing like aesthetically different.
Right.
They're just like, this is our new improved. And I was like, this is actually like it's rare. There are very few candy bars that exist where I'm just like, this is gross. I'm just like, I don't prefer this, but I'm like, this is actually nasty. Like, why would anybody eat this on purpose?
Dark Lyle says, finally got so great news in my life. Looks like I will have all of my degrees practicum hours finished and accepted by spring of 2020 and will be allowed to graduate. Yay!
Oh, congrats.
Congratulations, Dark Lyle. Congratulations. Let's see. Daniel Fullman. Satsu, are you doing a baby book? Monkey, did you do baby books for your kids?
Yes.
Satsu?
Baby books?
What is this baby book? Do you know what a baby book is?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what. I'm sorry, my brain.
So imagine for a moment a photo album.
Mhm.
But in this photo album, you start storing keepsakes from your child as the child grows.
Yeah, okay.
Like a lock of hair, a copy of your birth certificate or birth announcement, pictures, baby's first, whatever, that kind of stuff.
See, I wanted to do something like that, but I never remember. Just like when she was born, I said that I was going to be, recording and documenting all types of stuff for like vlogging on the channel just to keep her. I got so much shit going on. I wouldn't be able to keep up with something like that. It'd be nice to do something like that, but I don't think I could.
Well, guys, apparently Satsu needs a baby book for Christmas.
Yeah, if I had one, it'd be easier. Like if I had a place to actually do that, then yeah. But for the time being.
Let's see. Cody Fry, what's the weirdest thing you ever had to do as part of a school project? Had to do as part of a school project.
We didn't. I don't remember doing anything weird.
Well, I wasn't made to do it. I had a project in 4th grade where we had to. Our teacher was one of those really one of those teachers try to challenge kids to go sort of beyond their mental age range a little bit, and they're like, you have to come up with a hypothesis and then do a project on your hypothesis. And of course, at the time, hypothesis is a big word for a 4th grader. And so when she explained it to us, I said, my hypothesis, because I was really into magic back then, I said, my hypothesis is Harry Houdini was the greatest magician who ever lived. That was my hypothesis. And so what I did was I created a survey of who's the most famous magician. I listed magicians. I just listed Harry Houdini, David Copperfield, Blackstone, the magicians I knew of at the time. And then I had to do some extra research. And what I decided to do is I decided to write to the Magic Castle. You know what the Magic Castle is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Magic Castle, I believe, is in Los Angeles. And it's this place where it's like this quasi-private club / tourist attraction / magician's theater kind of thing. It's an actual castle. It looks like a castle in California. And I wrote to this place, and I just sent a random letter. This is a 4th grader. I'm 7 years old there, and 8 years old or whatever. I sent a random letter asking for information on Harry Houdini that I can use in my project. And I probably wrote it in crayon or something stupid. I don't even remember. But the thing was, I got a letter back, a long handwritten letter from a guy named Manny Weltman. And he was very gracious. He spent a lot of time. He wrote 4 or 5 pages worth of stuff about Harry Houdini and history of Houdini and all this other stuff. And it is one of my personal regrets, because I was a little kid, I didn't know any better. I didn't write him back to thank him. I should have. But it wasn't until years later that I remembered that project, and I looked up who the heck was Manny Weltman. And he was like the premier Houdini historian of the Magic Castle. He was like the top guy. And he took time out of his day to handwrite me this little, basically mini history biography of Harry Houdini. And I guess that, it's not weird bad. It's just kind of weird, for me, at least as a little kid. So there you go. There's a story I hadn't thought of in a while.
You should write him now.
He's dead.
Write his family.
Yeah, that's probably. Let's see. Frosted Glass. Could a lightsaber deflect a phaser? Yes.
No.
The answer is yes.
No.
They could block it. I don't know. Deflect, maybe not. Block it, yes. But the only way you'd be able to do that, of course, is if you have the Force. So 2 things are required. Let's see. Data Wasteland. Scribe Light, are you ignoring my question? No, don't ask me questions like that. Just post the question again. Zio Go. Lord's Night, would you rather have dirt on the Clintons or pick a fight with Jack Swagger? Jack Swagger. Isn't Jack Swagger a WWE guy?
Maybe.
Either way, I wouldn't. I don't have any dirt on the Clintons. I'm not sad. I don't. Pirates Creed Scribe. Did you ever play as a Malkavian or play with a good Malkavian in the Vampire the Masquerade tabletop game? In the tabletop game, I played with some funny Malkavians, but I played a Malkavian myself and played with some very well thought out Malkavians in the LARP that I was involved in, both in college and later. My Malkavian was, well, it'd be a long explanation. I kind of made a rule as I was LARPing it. I only play a character from a particular clan one time. I would try to do like the best version of a character based on that clan that I could and not go back. So I kind of have this very limited sort of mental gallery of characters I made up for each of these clans. So I played one Malkavian and one Ventru and one Toreador, etc. But there were people who like were just all they would play were Malkavians. Like their temperament or whatever was just, I'm a Malkavian, I'm going to play a Malkavian. And some of them are really good, like really well thought out, not cartoon characters. But then you had the occasional cartoon character, and it was just like, you know, people slapping each other with dead fish. And it was like, okay, whatever. Anyway, that was all nonsense to people who don't know what I'm talking about, but there you go. Dataways and Scribe Light. Oh, lords, if you three were stuck on an island for weeks and you were all starving, which one of you would offer to be food, and which one of you sounds the tastiest? I don't know. Monkey sounds pretty tasty.
I think I am pretty tasty.
Yeah, so Monkey would go first.
Well, think about how tenderized the meat is by now.
Oh, yeah, falling down all the stairs?
Yeah.
Y'all are hurtful.
Damn, we're such a great team. That was great. We can play off each other.
Now, for the record, the question was who would offer, and fuck both of y'all. How about that?
Who would offer?
That's what the question was.
That was the first question.
Well, okay, okay, all right. I'll be that guy. I would offer up Monkey first.
I don't think that was a question either.
Yeah, well, try running away from Satsu and I.
That is fucked up.
I know we're mean.
I'll make you feel bad about yourselves.
I would. Devil Fruit Zero Scribe Light. Have you ever had an Abba Zaba or a Big Hunk candy bar? Big Hunk, yes. Abba Zaba, no. But Abba Zaba is always ingrained in my mind because of Half Baked, where Dave Chappelle he's sad or whatever, and he pulls out an Abba Zaba. He says, "Abba Zaba, you my only friend," and then he like just pulls into it with his teeth. It's so funny. Massive Dynamic Scribe Light. If you could play a role in a TV show, who would it be? Like an established character in a TV show? God, I don't know. Because you know the characters that I love in TV shows. They're played so well. I mean, there's a TV show I'd want to be in. I'd love to have been somewhere in the X-Files or The Shield. The Shield would have been great. If I was like a sort of like a C story level guy who was put in the interrogation room or something on The Shield, oh, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Let's see. Gorbag Goes Camping. Wow, cool story, Scribe. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I'm assuming you're talking about the Magic Castle one. I hadn't thought about that in a long time. And you know something else that I regret in the course of years and everything, that handwritten letter gone. As far as I know, it's gone, and which is I really lot of small regrets that I have from when I was young and didn't know any better. So you know, there you go. We got 2-minute warning, guys. Time flies when I'm telling stories about the Magic Castle. Mr. Scott J87. Oh lords, which sci-fi universe would you like to live in? I.e., Dune, Star Wars, etc. I don't know. I mean, the sort of crime/noir part of me says Blade Runner universe. Kind of, sort of. What about you guys?
My answer is always the same in this one. The Mass Effect one. I think that one would be cool.
Probably Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell. Oh, there you go. Yeah. A little cyberpunk. I kind of like that stuff. Let's see. Zeo Gold, Lords of the Night. Would you ever eat weed gingerbread men? No. Edibles? I mean, I've tried pot a couple of times, like literally a couple of times, like twice, and it didn't really do anything great for me. And all the stories I've heard about people who just sort of eat edibles and don't have any experience with them ahead of time always end up poorly, either sick or otherwise. So probably not.
Yeah, them bitches fuck you up.
It's strong.
Yeah. So not my scene because I'm lame like that. In the future, though, who knows? I mean, if it's legal, if it gets like legalized, I don't know. Maybe when I don't care anymore. Mono Winter. Oh, Lords, lemon vodka, lime absinthe, or vanilla gasoline. Oh, God.
Vanilla gasoline.
Gasoline.
I've had absinthe 3 times in my life, 2 times in college from different people, and 1 time from the actual absinthe bar down in Louisiana, just off of St. Louis Square. And the first 2 times I had absinthe, I was like, it's kind of bitter, whatever. But at the absinthe bar, I mean, if they don't get it right there, you're in the wrong spot, right? The lady at the absinthe bar, I swear to God, she had the look and the attitude of like a saucy wench. When you think of the phrase saucy wench, she completely fit it to a T. And she was hilarious. She had some great stories. And she prepared the absinthe like a pro. And it was absolutely the smoothest, yummiest thing I'd had insofar as absinthe was concerned, at least on that day particular. And the wormwood hit me like a truck. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's the slightly psychedelic after effect of absinthe, at least certain absinthes. It doesn't make you see delusions or things, just kind of colors seem a little brighter kind of thing. That's that kind of effect. And the way she prepared it, it was delicious. And I haven't had anything like it since. So I'll take the absinthe, I suppose. Properly prepared, though. That's really all it's about. If it's not properly done, it doesn't work. But anyway, guys, we are at the top of the hour, actually just past it. And that's the end of the show. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us tonight, as you always do. You guys really are the best audience in the world. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though our audience is the best behaved audience in the world. And everyone who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. I will use it to put horrible things into my body, like barbecued monkey and vanilla gasoline. I mean, those are horrible things to put in your body. Well, sorry, monkey. I just had to get that out of there. Remember, guys, over on 2 Cents Plus, just after this,
that's
you can
what
watch
she said.
You can watch Monkey and Satsu. That's what she said. That's what she's setting zombies over in 7 Days to Die, along with Sinatra and Random American, presumably. Remember also that tomorrow night, per usual, everybody will be, I won't be there, but these 2 guys will be on Monkey's channel, along with, I'm assuming, special guest X. I don't know. You'll have to tune in and find out. It's going to be somebody. You'll have to find out when you get there. Yeah, I mean, if I don't make a surprise appearance tomorrow, I will see all you guys probably Monday, maybe Sunday morning. We'll see if I get inspired or have the energy. But hope everybody has a good weekend, a good Saturday, a good Sunday, and enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. I'll be visiting family, and I will have a full report on my Thanksmas gifts that I got for my family when I get back on Monday. But yeah, anything else before we go?
Nope. Come and hang out with us over on 2 Cents Plus.
Yep. Go there, guys, and especially subscribe if you haven't already, so you can keep track with those guys and hit the bell and all that fun stuff. Anyway, Monkey, Satsu, thank you for joining me as always.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I won't see you tomorrow, but these 2 guys.
Fuck off.
Now I get out per usual my copy of Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, the romance and sexual sorcery of sadomasochism. Turn to E-Random page, and survey says, oh, okay. Today's secret word is cognitive.
Oh.
Doesn't that sound all fancy?
Mm-hmm.